Hey guys, welcome back again. This last week has been a lot of RV upgrades and repairs. We're getting ready for a 500-mile round trip this weekend, and then on the 4th of July we're going to do a 1,800-mile round trip. So there's some things that we wanted to fix that needed some repairing and upgrading. So that's what we're doing. I've already done a couple of things. Behind me is the thermostat. So I updated this thermostat to just kind of a regular household thermostat, and you can probably hear the AC right now. It's working pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with that. The other thing I did was replace the tail lights. So they're one-piece units that are LED. Replace the old incandescent ones that were a couple pieces, but they really needed to be sealed and they needed to be replaced because they were really super faded. The new set is really nice so far. They're working amazing, and I really like them. Upgrades today, I just have a few things here on the table to show you. So first, the first thing is, I think the majority of this video is going to be about installing this indoor-outdoor amplified HD antenna. So this one is not white, it is the black antenna. It actually matches the one that's on there now. I think I couldn't find the white one, or it was longer lead time. I think I would have preferred the light one just because of, you know, light, UV, and reflecting the heat, things like that. But this one's going to be fine. So it says, you know, up to 100-mile broadcast radius. What we have now is a directional antenna that's supposed to be turned with this knob. The problem is this little bar that's supposed to control it is broken into multiple pieces, and it broke off on the top. Now if I could find the pieces to repair it, I would, but you just can't find. I think this knob is like the only thing that was available. Nothing else is available aside from the whole thing, and that, I think this one was like $130 or more for this specific type of antenna, and it's directional, so you have to turn it. So we've never been able to turn it. What I did want to do is replace it with this unit Omni-Directional, so you don't have to turn it, you don't have to move it again. The good thing is the wiring is already in place, the little amplifier is already in place, so I'm just going to have to be able to put this on top. I did go up there and look at it. We'll show you that in a minute. Some of the issues I think with the old one, that was a problem. Without taking this off, I think I'm just going to leave this on here because it'll obviously just cover the hole. But when you look up inside, where the shaft comes down is actually off-centered. So that could have been a problem from the beginning, that they off-centered the directional mechanism and control, so it wasn't quite able to turn correctly, and that's probably what broke it. But it's really been broken since we bought it. This one, you won't have that. I'm going to use the same wiring. The wiring comes out from the side and then into it, so it should be pretty easy with this one. Oh, I've got my strap to help me load my bucket with all the tools on it up to the roof. I've obviously got my our antenna and our other piece that we'll get up there afterwards. First thing is, I actually went through the channels on the TV, and we are actually, the antenna is pointed straight ahead, so direct center forward of the RV, which actually is the right direction to hit the TV channels here, since we are in North Carolina towards the coast. That is west, so it is actually pointing in a really good direction to pick up the channels. We've had issues obviously not picking up many channels at some RV parks because you can't change it and adjust it. So you can see here the clarity of the channels. We've got quite a few channels here. I think we actually have 29 channels in total. A handful of them are repeats, and they're pretty clear. So I guess I'm going to find out here, being in the perfect direction with this antenna, so aside from the antenna not being able to move. And truthfully, these the new HD TV signals, the HD signals versus the old analog signals, a directional antenna that can't move will still pick up quite a few channels, even if it's pointed the opposite direction of what the TV is, because of the way the HD signal is. But this one I think will be beneficial. hopefully we'll pick up more channels. I don't know in our location here that we'll actually pick up more channels, but that is that's the hope, and that's what we'll find out. We'll find out how this cheap antenna actually works. And I think I already said that we've already got the wiring, so I don't know if you can see the little green light there, but here's the switch. So the switch is already wired in to kind of give that amplification of the signal, and we'll be able to get some signal. So I'm gonna get up there, we'll set up the camera, we'll see what we need to do to take this apart, to take apart the old antenna, the wiring, clean off the old sealant, and then put this one down, and then take a look at the base of the other one, and hopefully this thing is gonna work with kind of just dropping it on there. So, all right, we'll get up there and we'll show you what I'm working with. All right, guys, now that we're up here and it's nice and bright, first thing is it's Torx bits. So there's some Torx under here and Torx here. The problem that they here is, I don't know if you can see it, it's pretty bright up here. This little, the front of the RV is that way. This little tab here says front, so this is supposed to be pointing that way. So they installed this wrong, I think, just to make sure that they had clearance for the cable is my only thought. We're just making sure they had clearance for that. I don't want to take this plate off. I want to screw the new one to this plate. So I'm going to start with the screw here. It's a Torx bit. Take the top, see if the top will come off. If not, I'll get under here and take these. There's some underneath this off. Take it off from the part. Try to take this thing apart so I can get clearance to this, so I can see if I need to modify it or what I need to do to keep this in place and install the new one right on top of this. So I'll do that now. All right, so I'm going to take this off here. There are 3 screws under here, and then there's a 4th that kind of goes into the side. There's not a lot of room in there, so what Torx? This is a T15, so it's a T15, and then I actually just use a 1/4 inch bit on my 3/8 ratchet, so that which makes it pretty easy. So now this, I think this. Let's see if there's, maybe there's one more screw. Let's see. Oh, there's 4 screws. All right, let me get that last screw off. So now I've got all 4 screws off. This thing should pop right off. Let's set this up so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Just got to give it a little pull. And then here is the wire. So our cable wire comes right off. So that's the internals. It's like a little bit of a printed circuit board with these metal antenna pieces on. These little fins in the back go to nothing. So and I'll see if I can pull this off, and then with that 1 screw out of there, or what I need to do that. Let's see here. All right. So let's see if I can show you what I think is going on here. There is a tab right here. So if I push that tab in, I think this will twist and pop right off. All right, so let me see if that works. All right, so you can probably see this tab. So yeah, once this tab is pushed in, it just twists off counterclockwise and lifts straight off. And now I'll see if I can take this part off, but maybe first I'll see if this other base will fit. And in the process, I don't know if it was twisting it or if this is already broken, but the my coax came off, so I'm gonna have to sort that out. So all right, let me check what we've got going on here, see if I can pop this off, and then see if the new one will fit. So things escalated here pretty quickly. I did get it off, however. So I started with this is the bottom of, so this obviously the base is here. That's what it looked like before I took these pieces off. So underneath you can see this hex shape. I think it's like a 19 millimeter 3/4. Actually seemed to fit up in there. My wife went down and held it, and I twisted it, and it's not threaded or anything. there are threads here, but I don't think it's for this. So it just spun, so it did nothing. So I got the cutoff tool, cut it off there, and then it actually just kind of broke off. So what we've got now, this is the base. So the base of the new one, this just threads onto the base. You know, once this is attached, and I'll fix this coax here in a second. But this actually fits on here really nicely. So if I just get some longer screws and put some longer screws down into here, I think this is going to be perfect. Yeah, it's gonna go together really nicely. So let me go find some longer screws, and that's gonna save us a lot of extra you know, siliconing and sealing here. I think some of this is cracked anyway, so I might put a little extra. And so, you know, if you follow AZ Expert, he tells you that silicone does not stick to the other stuff, and it looks like there's a little silicone mixed in here. So maybe I'll peel this back. So you can see the silicone. So the acrylic is on top of silicone. So you got silicone on top of acrylic, and then acrylic on top of that. So maybe I'll peel this back, clean it up, replace that as well, and then put this guy on, and we'll go from there. But first thing I'm going to do is fix this coax and then find some longer screws. So I do have 2 of the screws that came with this in. I don't think they're long enough, so these other 2 screws, I'm going to get some nice long ones. But one thing I did forget to mention is this piece had to be cut off too. This wire comes down and goes. This actually sticks up on the bottom of this plate, and it was interfering with this new base plate. So once I cut that off, this thing fit really nicely. So all right, I'm going to go ahead and fix the wire and clean this up and come back in a minute. All right, so I'm just going to peel all this off of here because I don't know if you can see the different layers of, I think over here you can see it. This is Dicor, and then this here underneath it is silicone, and the silicone does not stick to the Dicor. So yeah, I think at some time this was probably the roll up. See, I see this just peeling right up, not sticking at all. So I think this at one time this was the roll-up style pop-up antenna, and they replaced it with this one. Obviously installed it wrong because this is front and this is not the front. It's pointing towards the back left. Yeah, I'm gonna clean this all off, spray it off, and then come back in with more Dicor when there's no more silicone. So actually Dicor these screw holes. I got some 2.5-inch screws here, seem to go right into the decking, and it's holding really well. And I'll put some silicone probably here on the threads to make sure it's you know, kind of to act as a Loctite. But all right, I'll finish peeling this off. As you can see, it's not too hard with the scraper. It kind of comes right up, and then I'm gonna go along here, and then yeah, it peels up. So it's coming up pretty easy. I'll get the rest of this up, clean it up, put some Dicor on it, and then put the antenna on top. Now to clean it, I'm just going to use this spray foaming action glass cleaner. I've already gone over a little bit, over a little more. And I'm just going to take some paper towels and wipe that up, and then I'll Dicor around this. So I've got Dicor here. This Dicor I actually bought from Amazon, but when it came in the box, the tip was broken off, so that was a pain. But what we're doing here now is, you do see a small patch of a Turnabond. As I was peeling this off, there was a rip. I don't know if I did it. I don't think I went that deep, but there was a small rip in the actual membrane. It was underneath, so it was hidden, so it could have been there before. Could have been a reason why they did all this. It doesn't look like it had been leaking below, but it's still a deal. So I didn't clean all this off. I just got the silicone off, so the silicone is gone, and I won't have a problem with the silicone. So we should be able to, the Dicor should be able to stick. So we'll see how this tube with no with no tip works. Hopefully, I mean, it is self-leveling, right? And I put the Turnabond down because they say that this is not This is not the seal. This is simply a flashing. So, all right, I'll finish putting this down, see how it settles up, and yeah, we'll check back in when we're done. All right, guys, no shame. I used the full tube. I have another one. I did pick up one from Walmart as well, but since this tube was broken, I just figured, hell, why not just use it all? So yeah, we've kind of leveled out there. I made sure I hit the screws all along where it was before. Seems to be self-leveling itself well. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to tool it. I'm just going to leave it alone, and then I'll put a little bit of silicone on those threads, and I'll put the top of our antenna on, and then we'll go down and see if this did the trick. All right, guys. All right, that's our finished product. Looks pretty good. We're gonna go down and check on that on the reception. We'll fire it up and see how we did. All right, guys. So I just spent over an hour troubleshooting. Clearly, you can see the TV's working. I do have a few extra channels, actually, but I ran into some issues. Actually, two issues that I had to work through at the same time. So the first one on my install, you know, this is the wire that came with the old one. It was hard to get to the coax, the regular coax in there, so I used this one, and it was broken, so I repaired it. This one's just not acceptable. It just doesn't, it's not compatible, it doesn't work. I think I only got one, when I used that cable running through into the coax that comes into the RV, I was able to get literally one channel. So that is, don't reuse this one. I'm gonna have to go back up there, remove that base, cut into the old base a little bit more, not a big deal, just enough to get to this other cable, so I can pull that cable out and then wire the original, or the new one, right to the original coax itself. Problem number two is the too much, that might be too much light here. Is this factory switch. So this switch that comes with the RV, with the switch plate, not compatible. It does not, even running this cable that I have now, that I ran now directly from the new antenna to the antenna port, and then running the output here and turning it on. I don't know if this has too much power or not enough power. Whichever it is, it's not working. It is not giving power to the antenna, and it will not provide any reception whatsoever. So this, just know, if you're going to use this one, this is not compatible. This is not a plug and play system. This is not compatible. So right now I just have what it comes with is a USB. So I have it plugged into a USB outlet. Maybe I'll try to wire it off the 12 volts so we could use it on, actually, never mind. I was thinking about wiring into the 12 volt because I think this is powered off the 12 volt system, but none of our TVs are 12 volts, so that doesn't matter. Yeah, we might just have a little nest here of wires, but yeah, I'm gonna go on top, open the hole, run the actual coax so I can use the coax and not have this one coming out of the hole in the roof, and we should be all set. I think what I had before was 29 channels, a handful of repeats. Now I have 33 channels and a couple more repeats. So I did actually pick up a few channels with this one, so it seems to be good to go. I do have to go back up on there, on the roof, take that base off, get in there and reconnect the wires. I did, you know, I did cover the screws to protect them, so I'll probably have to do that again, or figure something out for those. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, comment on how terrible I did at this, and hopefully this is a good repair, or just a good upgrade going down the road, and we don't have to worry about this broken one anymore. And quite frankly, it was probably going to be okay. There were a couple of RV sites that we didn't have a lot of channels at, where we were in I think Ohio, or kind of rural in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, where this not being able to point it did seem to be a problem. So we will be stopping at those campgrounds over our trip. So we'll find out in Ohio, or if in actually Michigan as well, because we had to be pointing at a specific city. And obviously, if you're in Southwest Michigan, you're pointing at South Bend, Indiana, or you're pointing at Chicago. Those are your main, and then I think Grand Rapids, and there's some others. So those are your main points. Where we were at, we weren't picking up any of those because we couldn't point it at all. So hopefully that works. Don't know whether or not I'll be able to provide an update on that, but we'll give it a shot. So again, thanks for sticking around this long. Thanks for bearing with me during this painful endeavor. I think it's SV Seeker who says, or at least said one time, that it's not worth doing if it's not worth doing twice. So I get to go do this twice. But all my projects around here can never be simple. I don't know why. Not one project is ever simple for me. That's why I try to record some of them, so you can learn from my mistakes or just my hardships. Thanks again, and we'll catch you on the next one.